Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish Studios here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today, I'm going to be doing a review on The Bad Guys 2. So, The Bad Guys 2 is the sequel to The Bad Guys, the underappreciated DreamWorks hit from 2022, which I personally consider to be one of the most underappreciated DreamWorks movies, and it is the third of four DreamWorks movies that come out this year, with the first two being Dogman and the How to Train Dragon remake. And yeah, quite possibly the only good DreamWorks movie of the year. Yeah, I'm ready to spoil my thoughts, but I mean that's really here. Well, I mean, what competition is there when Gabby's Dollhouse the movie? Ha 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 ha. And anyways, it stars Sam Rockwell, Mark Maron, Craig Robinson, Anthony Ramos, Aquafina, Daniel Brooks, Maria Bakalova, Natasha Leon, Zazie Beetz, Richard Ayoade, Alex Boris Rastin, Lily Singh, uh, etc. And so the film tells a story taking place not long after the events of the first film. I think it was right after. I don't. Oh wait, yeah. I don't remember the time span, but yeah, uh, the bad guys are now reformed, and they are trying very very hard to convince everyone that they changed. However, they are still not accepted by society, as they try to get themselves a new job. However, yeah, because of their past actions, their criminal records, they cannot find themselves a job, and are threatened to get evicted from their homes, which basically is just a hideout. So why would they get evicted? I don't know. Maybe I just don't know how that shit works. I'll know more about that when I'm a working person. Oh well, yeah, it's just a nitpick. Anyways, yeah, back to what I was saying. So one day, there is a mysterious criminal gang who are stealing MacGuffinites, and are targeting a wrestling belt, and so the bad guys try to stop the new criminal gang from stealing the wrestling belt. But it turns out that notorious mysterious criminal has framed the bad guys for the robbery, and now the bad guys have are once again fugitives. They find themselves hijacked into high stakes globe-trotting heist, masterminded by a new team of criminals they never saw coming, the bad girls. So now their mission is to sabotage the bad girls, while pretending to follow them. And at the same time, though, Diana investigates the mysterious the activity of the bad girls. So yeah, now I before I continue on, I just want to mention the fact that I know I have not made a video for more than a week now. It seemed like it's been a long time since I last did an actual video. I think it was like 2 weeks or something. Besides the fact that I did out of theater reactions. And the reason why I have not done videos in a while is because I ran out of ideas. Well, I could say I am busy, but actually I'm not as busy. It seems I don't have like a busy school schedule this semester in college. But it's just that I ran out of ideas. There's a video I attempted to make called like my ranking of the comic book movies this year, but I just canceled it. I guess it just was not working for me. It feels like it kind of feels like a desperate excuse for me to pump out more content. So yeah. But lastly, I finally found myself another video to do, and that is, yes, my review of the Bad Guys 2. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the fact in my intro that that it's directed by Pierre Perry Fell, the same director as the original Bad Guys movie. So yeah, anyways, so I thought I reviewed the first Bad Guys movie on my channel. Surprisingly, I didn't. I will review the Bad Guys, the first film on my channel in the future, but I just didn't get a chance to. But I already said my thoughts on the Bad Guys one earlier. I think it is underrated. I didn't think it was underrated for a long time, but until now, people are saying, "Oh, this movie's better because the first one wasn't that good. It's mid and it's formulaic and blah blah blah." I think the Bad Guys one is far better than others say it is. What makes the first one great is that it is just it's just not only is it a fun movie, but it's also a very slick and clever movie. It takes a lot of inspiration from other crime films, including a Pulp Fiction reference in the beginning of the movie, and it actually feels like very unique. But yeah, so as for Bad Guys 2, yeah, I actually did consider this as one of my most anticipated anime movies of the year. Yeah, and simply because there was not a lot of like exciting anime and movies coming out like that were initially announced, especially for theaters. And it seems like right now, Netflix is dominating, as well as foreign animated films, especially Asia. I mean, my two favorite animated movies of the year so far are like Asian based movies, like with K-pop Demon Hunters, an Asian American movie, and a pure Asian movie that's about to get its American treatment, Neja 2. So yeah, now I never really expected the Bad Guys 2 to be like one of the masterpiece animated movies of the year, but I did at least expect it to be as good, like on par with the first one, maybe better, I guess. So yeah, now I saw this movie theaters back in July 31, the very last day of July. And it was an interesting theatrical experience to say the least. Um, I am planning to make a video about my least favorite theatrical experiences ever. So I will how do I say this? I will get around to it to make a video of my worst theatrical experiences ever. So, anyways, yeah. At least I saw Bad Guys 2. But I actually did not review it right away because, well, I just didn't feel like it, and I decided that maybe this needs a rewatch before I could properly review it. And I rewatched it last night, and now I am a lot confident in doing this. So, after seeing the Bad Guys 2 twice now, uh, yeah, I gotta say, the Bad Guys 2 is by far and away the best DreamWorks movie of the year. But let's be real here. This is the only good DreamWorks movie this year. Dogman, How to Train Dragon remake, and Gabby's Dollhouse the movie. It's actually kind of crazy to me that people still see DreamWorks as the best anime studio ever. Like they see it right now. It was because of Puss in Boots 2 back in 2022. But even with films like with mediocrity like Ruby Kill My Teenage Kraken, uh, or like shit like Trolls Band Together, or even like them jumping on the live action really bandwagon. People still praise DreamWorks as the best animated studio ever. Like, oh, the most perfect, the most consistent animated studio ever. Like, people won't admit it. DreamWorks is going downhill lately, and as great as the Bad Guys 2 was, as much as I give this movie an excellent review, I don't think this will save DreamWorks. I do not think so. Yeah, even though we got films like Puss in Boots 2, The Wild Robot, the upcoming Forgotten Island, which I think I will love. I mean, there's no salvage for DreamWorks now because they already damaged themselves with the How to Train Dragon remake, and then we're about to get Shrek 5, which looks like shit. And by the way, no, I don't know. I doubt they're actually gonna change the design. Don't assume it because DreamWorks can listen to their fans because they're better than Disney. Yeah, honestly, guys, right now I consider DreamWorks an overrated studio. I don't care what anyone else says. I think DreamWorks is overrated. But with that said, guys, yeah, this will be a positive review for damn sure. Now, do I think the Bad Guys 2 is better than the first one, like what some people are making out to be? Unfortunately, no. I don't think the Bad Guys 2 is better than the first one. I think the first movie is slightly better. But even if I prefer the first one over this one, the Bad Guys 2 was a strong sequel to the first. So yeah, now before I get into the reasons on why I think the Bad Guys 2 is a great sequel and why I think the first movie is better, um, I will just a disclaimer that this will be a spoiler-filled review. I will be spoiling this movie. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, how do I say this? There, even if I prefer the first one over this one, there are a handful of things this movie did better than the first. It's a bit of a bigger movie than the first, with bigger missions that features a climax where the world is at stake. And I am a huge sucker for those kinds of climax. Although there is less action scenes in the first, they are as good as the first one. They capture what made the action scenes in the first just so slick. Once again, just like in the first, the film started off with a slick car chase sequence, not as not as epic as the one in the first movie, but it's still awesome. And it's still awesome to see them once again start with a car chase scene. And yeah, and there were other great action scenes in the film too, like the wrestling scenes where the bad guy had to fight Pigtail, I think. Yeah, Pigtail, the bad guy, the bad girl's member, to steal the belt. Yeah, that was such an awesome fight scene. And of course, the climax. So with the bad guys running up um, on the rocket ship, which is like a James Bond esque action scene. And and yeah, and of course, yeah, the world being at stake, where the bad girls were plotting to destroy the world. But yeah, yeah, and yeah, one of the highlights of the film would have to be the bad girls. Now, regardless of how I felt about the first movie, I think we can all agree that Bombay fucking sucks. He's a shitty villain. The twist made no sense. It was just stupid. But yeah, but finally the bad girls. I mean, they are the villains that I wish. I wish the villain in the first movie wasn't the same quality as the bad girls. So yeah, my favorite member of the bad girls would be the leader Kitty Cat. Yeah, when I mean, Kitty Cat did have some nice moments when she tried to be nice to the bad guys, but when she got truly evil, holy shit, does she have some aura to her? And she is a villain you'd love to hate. Doom used to be my favorite member of the Bad Girls when I first watched the movie, but on rewatch, yeah, I now think yeah, Kitty Cat's my favorite. Yeah, I also like Pigtail, despite being my least favorite. I think Pigtail does have some cheesy dialogue at times, like oh, anger, like anger becomes punch, yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's a little bit cringy. But it's just a nitpick. I don't mind the cheesy dialogue. I'm not expecting this movie to have like the smartest dialogue ever. But yeah, the main bad guys members, the five main characters were much more interesting than they were in the first one. Now I'm not saying that they're not interesting in the first one, but I think they had better character. They were better character wise in this one. I actually related to them in this film because they get defined by their past actions despite being changed. I've personally done some really horrible things in the past, and I feel like I'm starting to change, but I still get defined by what I've done in the past. Sure, I may not be perfect, but I actually have not done anything wrong in a while online. You may have noticed that, but I guess people are not my haters are not going to yeah, yeah, the movie has such a great message on second chances. Yeah, and yeah, I as expected, Mr. Wolf is still my favorite member of the bad guys. I also like Webs too. There are times when I see Webs as my favorite bad guys member, but ultimately it's Mr. Wolf. I like how Mr. Wolf is I like how Mr. Wolf is like very mature. I mean he like despite all the other bad guys members being silly and goofy, not a bad way, not a bad thing. I like how Mr. Wolf is just very calm. He's not silly. He's like mature, and yeah, that's why I like Mr. Wolf a lot. But even if you don't know my thoughts, my opinion on the first Bad Guys movie, you could easily guess who is my favorite Bad Guys character, and that is, yep, Diane Foxington. Diane Foxington. Yeah, I freaking love Diane, and I think Diane is a slightly better character than the first movie. Diane had a little more screen time, I guess, or maybe on par with the first movie. I don't know. And she actually has more things to do than the first one. Yeah, my favorite scene in the film was when Diane saved Mr. Wolf from Kitty. As you know, Kitty was like apparently stronger than Mr. Wolf, but then Diane just comes in and just straight up defeats Kitty. By the way, I do not think Kitty is dead. I think Kitty will still return in the Bad Guys 3. And that scene is aligned with pretty much everyone's favorite scene in the film, including myself, which is Wolf and Diane kissing. Yes, guys, the first spoiler that I'm going to mention in this review. There's more. Yeah, I, I mean, I can see why we can all agree that their kissing is the best scene in the film, because they actually do have great chemistry, better chemistry than you realize, and so you can immediately see them as lovers. I know people say that they prefer Mr. Wolf and Diane ship over Nick and Judy ship from the Zootopia franchise. Personally, to me, I don't care if whether Nick and Judy ends up being just friends or they end up getting into a relationship. I personally don't care about that. I will admit, I do not give a shit. And the idea in this movie of Diana getting exposed for being the Crimson Ball. Yeah, I I actually do think it was a very powerful moment, and to see Diana getting backlash online, being all over the news, and no longer being the governor. You easily feel bad for her about that. But I like how Diana instantly accepted the fact that she's no longer governor, and I like how she's not just please madam, please you are good. This is not what it looks like. Please make me governor. Yeah, I'm glad that Diane was not that kind of person. It goes to show how mature Diane is. And she is now an official member of the Bad Guys, which means more screen time for her in the Bad Guys 3. So what else? Oh, and also I like how more involved she was in the story, despite having her own side quest. Yeah. The voice acting is just as strong as the first, and I consider that a highlight with these Bad Guys films. You got some great performances from Sam Rockwell, Zazie Beetz, Anthony Ramos, all that stuff. Also, I want to talk about Aquafina, because I think that Webbs is Aquafina's best voice performance. Now, there are better Aquafina performances out there. My favorite Aquafina performance is Katie from Shang Chi. But yeah, anime wise, I think Webbs is her best performance. Although I think I consider Raya and the Last Dragon as my favorite animated movie with Aquafina in it. But all those Sisu stuff in Raya and the Last Dragon, I feel like there are some stuff in Sisu that I would consider the weak link of the film, and let alone even a flaw. So I think Wes is better. Wes is better. So yeah. What else? Oh, and also I gotta talk about the animation. Yeah, the animation is better in this film than in the first. It's more creative and vibrant, and with the way they use the comic book animation style. And there's even some blink and you'll miss moments from hand drawn animation. So keep a lookout for those. The story is pretty good, and I love how it has a bit of complexity to it. There are times when the story felt better than the first film story. But overall, I think the first film does take a slight edge as the better written Bad Guys film. But I still like what they did with this one. However, though, I think that's all where my positives end, because yeah, I do have flaws with this film. In fact, these flaws are the reason why this movie is not as good as the first film. If it wasn't for these flaws, I think this would have been better. So yeah, now I the pacing in the beginning is a tad bit slow. Especially when the bad girls do not show up in their true forms until like 40 minutes in the film. Now they're just like either disguised or kept mysterious. Now on second viewing, it is understandable as to why the bad girls are appear late in the film. But that does not excuse the movie from its pacing issues because yeah, the first 30 minutes, with the exception of the car chase, yeah, there were undeniably some pacing issues to be found. The investigation plot line now with the bad guys working together with the chief to Chief Boris Stein, I think is her name. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I mean. Well, her name is technically not commissioner in this one. She's not commissioner, but whatever. Yeah, the whole like scene with just Mr. Wolf and the commissioner just like getting different bad guys members like one at a time to just analyze the investigation. Yeah, that kind of dragged it for a bit too long. Oh, and the comedy in this movie is not good. The first film had clever humor, and a lot of them I laughed at, but this time around, they kind of went too far with the comedy, and it just ended up being unfunny. It resulted in just your typical kiddie humor, especially the joke of just Piranha farting too much. Yeah, jokes like that, and also just Shark just does like hitting people and making them unconscious when he gets nervous. It just feels so repetitive. It's like, oh, like the best joke they could come up with is just, oh, well, when this happens to me, when I feel down or I feel nervous, I do something to make kids laugh, and it's actually just dumb lowbrow humor. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Oh, and also Professor Marmalade did not need to be in this film. His return in this was nervous, and I don't love his new design. He has a new design, and it's probably the weakest thing about the animation. But at least, unlike the first Yui, I don't think it's a bad character design. I mean, I can see where they were going with it. I like how his design looks so complex, and yeah. So, yeah. Oh, and also, the ending was really dumb. The ending is technically a mixed bag. On one hand, it sets up where the direction of the bad guys 3, where now the bad guys are going to are on a mission to you know yeah, the bad guys are on a mission. They're now like undercover secret agents, and yeah, and I love how Diane is now a member of the bad guys, yeah, for real this time. Yeah, I already mentioned it earlier, but oh well. But then there is this stupid shit in the ending where the bad guys fake their deaths. Yeah, like we had this like whole funeral with the police and newscasters like speaking about the bad guys dead, and that oh, they only found that the bad guys were innocent when they quote unquote died, and they tried to make the audience think that the bad guys were actually dead. I knew that they were faking their death, so that was like really stupid. That was probably my worst scene in the film. So yeah, so overall, the Bad Guys 2 is a sequel that may not be as strong as the first movie, but it's still kept it still captured mostly captured what made the first movie just so great. It's just not as fun as the first movie. It's not as slick. It's not as unique. But at least this movie has better character development, and character is like my number one favorite aspect in a film. Usually, when you have good story but you have characters I don't care about, it's not going to be easy for me to just like. But you could at least have like a character driven movie without an actual story, and it could still work. So yeah, it may have its flaws. And it is one of the rare DreamWorks second installment sequels that does not top the original. But on its own, yeah, I'm still very satisfied by it. So like I said, guys, I'm going to give The Bad Guys 2 a 4 out of 5 stars. A great movie. So also for my review of The Bad Guys 2, what are your thoughts on the movie? Do you agree with me that this is weaker than the first movie but still awesome? Or are you with the people who say that this is better than the first movie? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more videos to come. I am planning to do a rant on Space Jam: A New Legacy and unleash my long-awaited major epic rant on Teen Titans Go this month. Yet it's been long overdue, but I'm kind of motivated to do it as soon as possible. So yeah, bye guys.